The saints had dwelt in Nauvoo for a time now with peace and harmony in building up the kingdom. They had been able to enjoy life without much persecution, but then unrest built up towards them, and it became necessary, under the inspiration of Brigham Young, to leave their city beautiful. To leave the city they loved so much, and their beautiful homes and most of their worldly possessions. They would also leave what they had worked so hard for and sacrificed for, their beautiful Nauvoo temple, which they had been building both night and day.
Is everybody ready?
We must get going soon!
Mom, I can't bring my red ball.
I must bring my marbles!
Yes, Philip, I'll challenge you to a game.
I packed around with his precious quilt, didn't I?
I hope we have enough food. How far is it, Daddy?
Zach, did you grease those wheelbarrows enough?
No.
I hope Emily's finished packing.
Make sure we stay with the group.
They can't hurt us anymore, can they?
Honey, we will be safe from our enemy now.
The first wagons rolled out of Nauvoo to the ferry on the 4th of February, 1846. Once across the Mississippi, they broke a 9-mile trail to Sugar Creek, set up camp, and awaited the arrival of Brigham Young. During February, over 3,000 people crossed the river under the direction of Hosea Stout, captain of the Nauvoo police, and they gathered at Sugar Creek. Leaving Nauvoo was an act of faith for the saints. They departed without knowing exactly where they were going, or when they would arrive at the place to settle. They only knew that they were on the verge of being driven out of Illinois by their enemies, and that their leaders had received revelation to locate a refuge somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. In spite of the harsh conditions, there was some merriment in camp. Almost every night, William Pitt's brass band played the popular grand marches, the quick steps, and the gallops of the time. A Around the campfires, the people danced to fiddle music and sang favorite songs, as well as new ones they composed for the occasion. Late in the evenings, as camp was settled, some pioneers would be found sitting around their fires, writing in their journals, or even writing and reading from their journals.
Although spring-like weather facilitated an early departure from Nauvoo, severe weather came soon after the 12 hampered and blessed the already hurried exodus. On 14 February, it snowed, and on 19 February, a northwest wind brought 8 inches of snow. A very cold night, and much suffering in the camp, for there were many who had no tents or any comfortable places to lodge. Many tents were blown down, and some of them were unfinished and had no ends. After Brigham Young had left Nauvoo and crossed the river to Iowa side, the mud became so deep his teams had to be yoked double to pull the wagons up the hill to Sugar Creek Camp. A week later, the temperatures plummeted and the Mississippi froze, hastening the abandonment of Nauvoo by allowing numerous saints to cross on the ice. Because of the extreme cold, however, many people, including Brigham Young and Willard Richards, fell ill at Sugar Creek. Also in one night, 9 babies were born. The women and babies suffered most from the exposure to the cold, wind, and snow.
Lack of food plagues us, wishing to be with our leaders. Many have failed to follow the counsel to be prepared before leaving. Brigham Young, Heber C. Kimball, and a few of us others had left Nauvoo with a year's supply of provisions, but most others left with hardly any food. Their unpreparedness caused some who had brought and were willing to share to deplete their supply within a few weeks. President Young has the overwhelming responsibility of being a father to us all. He told us that unless his people are more united in spirit and cease to pray against counsel, it will bring him down to his grave. It has reduced him so much in flesh that the coat, which would scarcely be around his middle, now laps over 12 inches. It is all he can do to keep himself from lying down and sleeping to await the resurrection.
Brigham Young noted that the saints are patient and endure all their privations without murmuring. A month later, he told us, "I do not think there has ever been a body of people since the days of Enoch placed under the same unpleasant circumstances that his people have been, where there has been so